How's it going, guys? It's been a while since we've done a video on Hearthstone, but we're back. I just recently got married, so we haven't really had the chance to, play as much as I'd like. But I am back. I have some time to play, so you'll probably see some Heroes of the Storm videos, some Hearthstone videos this season. And today I'll talk about what I'm playing on the ladder, and we'll go. This will be a deck tech. This deck tech will be probably 10 minutes long, and I'll go in depth on the priest class, and we'll talk a little bit about why I'm playing the cards I'm going to play, and what cards we can use to substitute, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. Okay, so here we are, Gnomes versus Goblins in full effect. It's been out for a couple months. People have been trying new things. The top decks to beat right now are probably Muster the Troops or whatever, Paladin, whatever, Muster for Battle, like a Paladin deck that runs that, and Quartermasters and things of that nature. Uh, and the other two decks being Hunter's still strong, and mech, mage. And I think if you are just looking to get through the ladder as quick as possible and get to the ranks 5 and down, or ranks 5 and up, then you should play mech, mage, or hunter. Um, I think it's just they're very fast decks. You're gonna get through a lot of, you might not win all the games, but the games are gonna be quick enough where you're ranking up really quickly. I personally hate playing decks like this. Although I must admit that Mecha Mage is a very, very strong deck. It has a lot of synergies. Reminds me a lot of Hunter. Um, yeah, but we're not talking about that today. Today we're going to talk about Control Priest. Now, there's obviously very many ways to play Priest. You can build a mech Priest. You can build a minion-based Priest, although it's not as strong now that Undertaker's been nerfed. But for me, because I know I'm going to challenge a lot of Hunters and Mages, I want to skew my deck as best as possible to beat them. So what I've done is I played Control Priest. This is the typical Control Priest list with a bunch of added stuff, and we're going to talk over them shortly. So we have two Circle of Healings. Circle of Healing is obviously a very strong card with stuff like Akanai Soul Priest and Injured Blade Master. Now, I am playing no Injured Blade Masters, but I do need these cards, the Circle of Healing, for the Flame Strike. Simply to, clear a board against a Mage or clear a board against Hunter or whatever it may be. It also has some synergy with Wild Pyromancer. We have two Holy Smites, which has synergy with Wild Pyromancer, synergy with Vol'jin, and it's also just a good way to get rid of a early game threat like a Knife Juggler, things of that nature. I'm running one Light of the Naru. If I could, I would fit in a second, but right now I just do not know where to make the change. And this card, it maybe doesn't look that good. A lot of priest lists don't play it. But if you play Soul Priest, you should be playing this. This means on turn 5, you can kill a 3 mana or a 3 toughness target by using Soul Priest into this, and you'll still get the 2/1 or the 1/2 Light Warden. This means that late in the game, you can burst heal yourself and still get a Light Warden. There's just a lot of utility in the card. Maybe 2 copies is too much, so that's why we've been playing with the 1. Power Word Shield. I no longer think the Power Word Shield is the card the core card for Priest before. I don't think it's that important anymore, especially if you play a minion-based list. I don't think it's that important. But I think if you're playing Wild Pyromancer, you need as many activators as possible, and Power Word Shield is probably one of the best ones. Alright, so we play 2. 2 Northshire Clerics. Clerics just really good. 1 for a 1/3. It's a strong drop. No Shadow Word Pains, although I could see an argument for starting to play Shadow Word Pains and Shrinkmeisters. 2 Shadow Word Deaths. The reason why I'm playing Shadow Word Deaths is because Goblin Blast Mage and a shitload of threats over 5. So 2, I think 2 is better than playing 1 in a 1 big game Hunter. So I'm playing 2. No Thought Steals in this deck. 2 Thought Steals, too slow of a card. 2 Dark Cultists, which is just a strong 3-drop, 3 for a 3/4. No Shadow Madness, although you can make the argument for adding one of these. 2 Akanai Soul Priest, which, like I said, this is your late in the game board wipe. Helps you keep the board clean, and get that card advantage, even though you spend a lot of the early turns maybe losing that life. 1 Holy Nova, 1 Vol'jin. Vol'jin is a pretty awesome card. Has synergy with Holy Nova, has synergy with Smite, has a lot of synergy with many cards, so it's a strong pseudo removal. 1 Holy Fire. Holy Fire is a great card, especially in these burst metas. You kind of need that way to kind of heal yourself away from lethal. It's a perfect solution for that. Light Bomb is a card that I played, but I took it out. If you see a lot of hand locks or whatnot, I could see the argument for putting this back in. For me, it was just too slow and too situational, and I was just better off having some kind of board presence. 1 Cabal Shadow Priest. I can see the argument for 2. It's very possible you should run 2, but I run, and 1 Mind Control. Now, Mind Control is a very slow card, and it's absolutely does nothing against the aggro matchup until way late in the game. But the deck is strong enough to buy you that time. I'm going to talk about the neutral cards. Wild Pyromancer, obviously, it's got a lot of synergy with all the 10 spells that are in the deck, so very good card, especially for the deck, because this allows you to kind of slow play your hand. You can spend turns 1 through 4 just healing, you know what I mean? Occasionally putting down a card and buffing it or whatnot. So I like it, strong card. 2 Death Lords. Now, Death Lord is horrible against Priest. It's horrible against Control Warrior. It's horrible against very slow decks, but it's great against aggressive decks. Because even against Freeze Mage or Mech Mage, like a class that can just burn this down like quickly, they have to use their resources to burn it, meaning that damage doesn't go to your face, which means it's basically a heal for 8. And it has a chance of putting in a Battlecry creature, so there's a chance that they get their Goblin Blast Mage, and they lose the powerful effect of it. And basically, all you want are these cards to buy you time to get a Soul Priest so you can get a big board clear. And believe me, it happens way more often than you think. We have 1 Harrison Jones just to deal with whatever weapon classes. I could see dropping this, especially since Mech Mage doesn't play weapons, obviously. But it's always been good, especially against Hunter. I have a Lotheb here. Originally, this was something else. What was this? What was this card? I think this was Trogzor. And Trogzor, I still believe, is a very strong card. But I think for an aggressive meta, or meta game, a Lotheb is better. And I have the Vol'jin, like we said. We have a Sylvanas, which is like the queen of priest legendaries. A Black Knight, which doesn't really do much against aggressive decks, but it's still nice to have some kind of utility in the game. 1 Baron Geddon, which I think is just the most important legendary against aggressive decks. Allows you to clear a lot of different board states. Dr. Boom. These two legendaries are very susceptible to BGH, but I'm kind of hoping that as people play decks that don't have BGH targets, that people kind of go away from it and don't expect it anymore. So yeah, so that's the deck. So in the next few videos, we'll probably play a couple games and see how well we do.